Hello, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having an amazing weekend. I am here at the side of my house, completely unrelated to chickens and gardens. We have a new septic system, or rather we have a new controller. It packed up a while ago, and that meant that the septic system, which has two pumps, one for recirculation and one for discharging, hasn't been working for about 3 weeks, and so that was costly. One of the challenges of living in the country, unfortunately, but that's okay. But looky here, we already have some cauliflowers coming up. We already have some broccoli coming up. Check this out. Look at that. That is looking amazing. I'm going to have to go through and obviously thin out some of the plants there, because clearly I fell over some of the seeds, but that's okay. It's thinking about raining right now, so if I suddenly randomly dash inwards, you'll know why. Look at my lovely trees though. Cherry tree, and literally just came out today, apple tree, all doing amazingly well. It is that wonderful time of year when everything starts to grow. It just fills you with lots of hope and wonderful feelings. I certainly feel nice and relaxed at this time of year. I mean, check that cherry tree out there. I hope we actually see cherries. We haven't seen actual cherries for many weeks, or many years, sorry. But I'm hoping this year will be good. The previous 2 years it was both too hot, and then the previous year it was too cold. So cherries fickle. Nothing from the potato yet, which is completely understandable because they've only been in there for a couple of weeks. But what we do have over here is some very wonderful, well-growing parsnips. Check these out. They're now starting to get their true leaves on, so we can tell that they're actually parsnips. I think we've got some good growth here. We do have some interlopers. Let's pull those out here. You are an interloper, and you are an interloper. You can go bye-bye. Just only real parsnips are allowed in here. And then the same over here. Sorry, I went a little Miss Izzard there, but it's okay. Cake or death. If you haven't watched Susie Eddie Izzard, or Eddie Susie Izzard, I can't remember which way around she has her name, but she's awesome, and one of my favourite British comics. So there you go. So lots of things are growing in the garden. Some exciting news, completely unrelated again to chickens and gardens. I just got permission to put my plates on my truck, which is very cool. The chickens have been inside today for no other reason other than they have a tendency to escape, and it could cause problems, especially when I'm trying to do other things, to constantly have to go outside and rescue the chickens. I figured out that the some of the youngsters can now fly up over the 6-foot wire that we have. I don't want to clip their wings though, because if they have flown out and then they need to get back in for whatever reason, bad things. Miss Ashley is doing amazingly well. Look at those new feathers coming through. How are you doing, Ashley? She looks like a new chicken completely. It is so wonderful to see that she's recovered. Her comb is nice and healthy. She really has. She's recovered incredibly well. Let's see what else is going on in the garden right now. My strawberries are thinking about making flowers. Haven't actually seen any yet, but there's some indications that we might be getting some flower stems. Oh, there's one over there. So there is now a strawberry flower out. My first strawberry flower of the year. The onions I put in, and this is interesting because these are a different variety of onions to these ones. These ones are Walla Walla, and I've forgotten what these ones are, but clearly the ones on this side are growing far more happily than the ones on that side. I haven't seen any carrots come up yet, but it's only a matter of time, I think, before we start to see carrots coming up. And as I mentioned when I explained why I was doing all of that, hopefully the carrots will put off the onion fly, and the onions will put off the carrot fly. This herb has recovered. My sage is doing amazingly well. It is happy. Rosemary, not so much. As with last week, and I feel sorry, and I feel like I have to apologise to my friend Bill every time I make these videos, but I think this rosemary is no longer merry, or in fact doing much. But I mean, maybe it will grow up and come. If I cut it here, if I just break off, you see that is very, very dry, and I don't think there's anything happening on this at all. In fact, it's got some holes in it, so I don't think we're going to get much in the way of rosemary from this rosemary bush. But check out these leeks. These are like the leeks that came up from the previous year. The previous leeks had seeds, which are these, that came up. But now we've actually got more leeks growing. So maybe I've created perpetual leeks. I don't know. I need to weed. I know I need to weed. It's on my list of things to do. Maybe this weekend, maybe not. We will see. And although I think these might be leek seeds. Yep, these are in fact leek seeds. So maybe I'll just plant some leek seeds and see what happens. Gonna throw them in the garden and see what happens. Let nature do its thing. Garlic's doing incredibly well. I am so proud of this garlic. I think this is going to be my best year ever for garlic, and you can start to see some of the garlic is growing faster than others. I think my elephant garlic is that middle row there, and you can see it's starting to change shape. You see the elephant garlic grows more quickly, and it's got a rounder stem, so it's really starting to grow and take a lot of that cool, nutrient-rich soil and turn it into lovely garlicky goodness. Elephant garlic is very different to a lot of other garlics. It's got a very unique flavour, which is wonderful. Something else that has a very unique flavour, these are my wasabina, I think. It's a type of a mustard seed. And the cool thing is, if you just chew on a leaf, initially it tastes very much like a lettuce, but almost immediately afterwards you get this lovely mustardy flavour that is very much kind of like a mustard, maybe a wasabi flavour. It's kind of really rich and got an earthy flavour, but it's really nice. Very similar in some ways actually to a rocket, but maybe a little bit more mustardy than a rocket. Check out my fava beans though, my broad beans. They are doing incredible. And because they are right in this corner, and this corner gets not the best in terms of sun, they are starting to tip towards the sunlight that they get most of the time, which is kind of generally and from that direction. So at some point soon, I'm going to have to put some stakes in, which is okay because I just got a whole bunch of stakes that arrived in the mail so I can put fresh stakes up and be done with it. Would you like to see how my greenhouse is doing? Again, we're still in winter mode. I can't do this one-handed because the stick is kind of pulled a little bit over time. But check this out. These are my tomatoes. And we finally have success, great success. Stew Peace tomatoes are the ones that are up right now. So these are all Stew Peace tomatoes. Haven't had anything yet. These are my Nepal salad slices. These are old seeds. I don't expect these to actually come up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Let's see. These are Stew Peace. All of these are Stew Peace. And these ones are brandywines. They've not come up yet. And these ones are cherries. They've not come up yet. And these ones are Pomodoro Squisto. I think they are kind of like a salad, not a salad, a sauce tomato, like a plum tomato. They haven't come up yet. But the good thing here is that I have so many seeds because I have a bit of a seed problem. I have so many seeds and I'm just going to plant some more. I'm going to do that this weekend. now that in here things are a lot warmer and nicer. And hopefully that will give us a really good kind of basis for getting everything ready to put things in the ground. I need to also start preparing these greenhouse beds. They're still not there yet. Oh no, there's a bee that has passed away, a bumblebee. That makes me sad. But what does not make me sad is check out my cucumbers. So these here are my fabled Telegraph cucumber seeds. These are also like a British cucumber. And then over here we've got some pickling cucumbers and some lemon cucumbers. Pretty much all of the cucumbers, with a few exceptions, all of the cucumbers have popped through now. So I'm very, very happy at how these are performing. And I'm just going to have a little look on the bottom. You see, we have some root action too, which is great news because it means that these cucumbers are going to give us lots of yummy cucumbers. And we talked about cucumbers last week. I'm not going to go back there and pretend that I haven't had that conversation. But nevertheless, I am right. Kate Walton-Elliott is wrong. Let's just leave it at that. I've been bringing these tomatoes back in at night time, so I need to tell you a little story. Started this week. I was speaking to my mum and I was very frustrated. I said, none of my tomatoes have germinated. It's been 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. I think they're all dead. I'm going to have to start again. And my mum just very gently suggested that I might want to bring them in at night time because it gets a bit cold in the greenhouse. She said, well, why don't you just bring them inside? So I brought them inside, and within 2 hours of bringing them inside, in the middle of the day, we started to have tomatoes poke out of the ground. I guess my mum's got many, many years of gardening experience, and I've got fewer because she is 21 and I'm not quite yet 21. So, my mother, for those who don't know, my mother likes to refer to herself as 21. She is 21, so I have to maintain that I'm less than 21, otherwise I would be the same age as my mother, and that would be a little bit freaky. Anyway, tell me what's going on in your garden this week. If you have chickens, have they started laying in large amounts like our chickens have? And before I finish, a little tale, and I'm going to demonstrate. So obviously we have 6 hens, 5 of which are laying. Sometimes. So most of the time we only have 4 laying. But 4 hens laying a day is enough to get sizable numbers of eggs. So what I tend to do if I'm out in the garden is I will come along like this. And if I'm going to be busy, I'll just put an egg there so that I remember I need to go and pick up the eggs. Well, this week my ADHD was being really, really intense. My depression was really intense because of a lot of the negativity that's been coming our way online. So I wasn't having a particularly good day at focusing, and I kept disappearing off onto little side quests, right? So I had put my chicken eggs down on the front of my wife's bolt. And then yesterday I had to go out in her bolt to go and get something for the truck, for a project that we're going to be filming next week. And I got halfway down the mountain to the valley, and I heard this random rattling at the front of the car. I was like, oh no, something's broken. And then a split second later I went, the eggs. And there were 2 eggs that had been left at the front of my wife's car, and they'd stayed nearly all the way down the mountain road down to the valley. I stopped, pulled over, took the 2 eggs that were still intact, put them in the door pocket and took them home. And I assume they will be lovely. I haven't eaten them yet. So I can't be the only person who does that. So tell me your forgetful stories in the comments below. Tell me about your garden. Tell me about your chickens. And if you have other animals of a farmy nature, tell me about how they're doing now that spring has really and truly arrived in the Northern Hemisphere. I mean, you can tell just by all of the pollen that is now on the truck. Anyway, I'll see you next weekend. Thanks for joining me today. And if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure we can be 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, $10.08 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters, Doug Hofler, Randy Bayer, and John Furworth. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at, address also below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below. This month, we are celebrating the start of spring with an amazing t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator Erin. It's all about growing your own EV charging with solar power. Get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming right up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you very soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we also think that this one is well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.